If you make a mistake, it's good to know that you've got the undo feature. Undo kind of comes in three categories: command line, pull down, and queue history. So let's take a look at each of those. I'm just going to go and open my visualizer, bottom right, so we can see what we're doing. And I'm then going to go and say 31 through at. That's saying 31 through to the last of that type, and then setting those to full. Maybe I'll then go and say at 50. Maybe I'll then go and move those slightly. And maybe as I'm doing that, I then realize, oh, I preferred them how they were, or, oh, I need to get them back to the intensity they were at. Well, I can just simply say undo, enter. So I can say undo, enter on my command line. And each time I do that, that is going to be undoing each step that we've made. You'll see in this case here, it is actually undoing a degree at a time on our movement. So you can get very fine amounts of undo, or if I just move these fixtures and click to a specific position, undo enter is just going to send our fixtures right back to where they were. Equally, if you home them accidentally, we could do an undo enter to get those fixtures back to where they were. Maybe we go and change their intensity, but then go, oh no, we prefer them how they were, so we can do an undo enter again to set them back to their original intensity. Of course, same for colour. Maybe you go in and you choose some different colours on those lights and then you preferred how it was. Again, just undo enter to get yourself back to where you were with your colours. Now, as well as just fixture levels, live changes, we can also undo some queue information as well. Let's say that you've gone in, maybe you've double tapped record accidentally, or maybe you've double tapped recording a queue, but you realise, oh, actually I need to start again with that queue. If I do go and do a record to record the next available queue, I could then say undo record enter, and that will undo the queue. You'll notice at that point of time, when I was in queue 27, I then undid it. So in that case there, I actually removed the queue that I was in. And so what happened is your fixtures that were active from queue 27 were dumped into the programmer. So we can see there 31 through 37 are still on stage, but this time they're on as manual values because they were coming from queue 27. That doesn't exist anymore. So they're now coming as manual values. Maybe I'm going to release those values and I'm going to go straight to Q1. So I'm going to go and say go to 1 enter. Oh, sorry, I don't have a Q. Don't have a Q1, so I'm going to go to 2 enter. They're my values. Then maybe I realise, oh, actually, I would rather have light 10 at full. So I'm going to go and say 10 at. And I'm then going to go and do an update to save that. And then maybe you realise, oh, actually, it was better originally how it was. So I'm actually going to go and say undo update, enter. Again, we've made a change, but the console has not changed the output on stage. Therefore, 10 has been dumped into the programmer. Light 10 has been dumped into the programmer. So I can now release that, and we can then see that Q2 is back to how we had it. We have undone the update. So that's some of the command line options we've got with undo. I'm going to go and release my Q stack there. But we do have our undo button here, and that has a drop-down menu. So these are all of the various undo options. We can undo selection changes, we can undo channel state, so you'll see there that you actually got some history of all of the different fixture control adjustments we've made. We can also undo queue records, and again, click on queue record, I can see all of the queues that I've been making adjustments to. You'll notice that queue update is greyed out because we've already undone the queue update. And there's some various options in here as well. So if you've made updates to groups or palettes, as I've done here earlier in my show file, I've got all of that history there that I can go back to. Now, the last kind of category of undo is queue history. For this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my queue list window. So I'm going to go to my queue list to open that full screen. For the purpose of this, I'm actually going to go and close my visualizer. We don't need that. And what I can do is I can right click any queue. And when I've right clicked a queue, you've got various queue options, one of which is Open Queue Update History. And if you open that, that's going to give you a pop-out box to show you all of the various versions of that queue that are stored in your show file. I'm going to go and open my visualizer, and I'm just going to preview some of these. Cancel that, let's preview that, and you can just kind of work out which version of the queue you like. I'm just going to kind of preview through these, cancel it, no it's not that one, that's the one I want. When you've found the one you like, you can click apply, and that will then kind of be dumped and kind of made a copy of that at the end of the list, because it's made that particular revision active. It's applied that revision, therefore that revision now becomes the most recent, and that becomes added to the end of the queue history. So that is how you can actually undo versions of your queues, essentially, from that are all stored in your show file, and you can preview an earlier version and then apply it once you've found the one you need.